This lady's so happy because she realizes I'm about to give an in-depth Nadex Knockout trading tutorial. Entry points, exit points, a free indicator that I use with key trading levels to trade around. I'm going to tell you where I get my news and how I handle abrupt media disruption. All coming up next. Get ready for some explosive trading content. Hi guys, once again this is Alfred from binaryoptionstutor.com. I just decided to come on real quick, put on a trade, and do a little knockout tutorial. Partly because I couldn't find a binary that I was interested in doing a little poppy trade on. So I'm gonna put on a knockout, and I'm gonna talk about knockouts because I'm not certain that I like the knockouts, but I'm not certain. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the knockouts. That's what I'm getting at. Okay, so this is going to be my little quick Nadex Knockout tutorial. I'm doing this on a new platform because this is the new Nadex platform. And to be honest with you, they recently sent me a letter where they're saying, like, by November, they're going to entirely switch over to this platform. So I'm trying to acclimate myself to it now. A couple of things I want to talk about here. I want to talk about the knockouts. I want to talk about putting how I put together my trade, okay, and little checklist of things. I come in here to Nadex. I look for Forex. What am I trading? I like to trade. There's only 4 pairs here. Oh, well, guys will go, oh, but there's only 4 pairs. Okay, there's something good about that. They're filtering out. These are some of the most liquid pairs in Forex, and that's what you'll be trading. Where you'll be trading the most liquid pairs. That'll matter as you start to take larger trades, because liquidity may be able to help you when it's low liquidity or help you get out when it's higher liquidity. Okay? But that's another story for another day. Let's just say these are, you really only need 1 or 2, in my opinion, only 1 or 2 pairs that you're pretty familiar with, and you'll probably get better by trading the same pairs consistently. Not just me, but go and look at a lot of guys and gals on here who trade and really ask yourself, how many different pairs are they trading? How many different things are they trading? If they like trading indices or whatever, how many different things are they looking at? Go and look on my Twitter. I just sat down one day and I had gotten into a bit of a conversation, let's say, with someone in a forum, in a Forex forum, not even going to mention their name, and they were like, "Oh well, you're still selling things on your page, and so therefore, I will infer from that you're some scam artist or whatever." There's plenty of free stuff on my page, but that's okay. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna trade indices. I'm gonna do markup on indices because I haven't traded indices in like ages, but I know I used to, and I just started doing markups like every night on the S&P, every night. ES, here's an ES, here's an ES. Go and look at that on my Twitter. I'm doing the same thing. I knew emphatically that I was pretty good at trading indices like 10, 12 years ago. So I knew once I started back consistently doing it that my markups were just going to get better and better. And at a point, I knew from looking at my Twitter feed that there were some professionals that you will see on CNBC that were looking and following my markups. Not because, oh, we just want to copy paste Alfred, but because Alfred is someone that, for whatever reason, has some value, so I can at least consider looking at some of his thoughts and ideas along with my own. That's all the markups are for. They're not to give you some signal so that you can not have to take ownership for anything. Okay, but let's go through step by step. Big thing. This is a news calendar. It's right here on my site, on our site. It's been here for years. It's absolutely free. Set it to your time zone. Make sure there are no big or high impact news events. If you're finna get into a touch bracket, I mean a knockout, that's what they used to call them, touch brackets. Okay? Now, if I get on the wrong side of a trade, a lot of the time it's because I forget to come and check the news, even though it's free and available right here on my own site. That's ridiculous. Okay? Another thing that I like to do is right here by my desk, I have a little Google Home, and I will turn it on and ask it to play me CNBC off TuneIn. I'm not listening for tips. I'm listening for what if something happens in the media that's not on the schedule right here and I'm in a trade. And if that happens, which it did just a week or so ago, I need to know, I need to hear what's going on, and I need to react positively to it. So I do my homework. You can check what news is coming out before you, at the top of your trading day. A lot of people like to do that, but I also like to listen to the media. So therefore, I have a little Google Home, and I just say to it, hey Google, play CNBC.
Here's the latest news. By the way, if you want to hear more from a particular source,
Okay, she's not doing it now. Hey Google, play CNBC live stream.
Streaming CNBC from TuneIn.
Their market share. Now this lady's going away.
Hey Google, stop. Okay, I don't want to get any whatever strikes or whatever they call it. So those are my two tips there. Okay, now we're going to get into technicals. We saw how to get here, right? We click knockouts. This is in the category of Forex. That's the asset class. I'm trading Euro USD. That got me over here. What if I would have been trading something else? Let's talk about that. When I very first click this, I'm going to see these 4 different areas. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm fin to sell, I'm going to show you an easy way to look at this. If I'm going to sell, I'm going to sell the lowest strike here. And if I do that, if I decide to do that, then I'm going to have the least amount of potential risk, and is related to the next area, this next knockout, and this next knockout. Now, if I'm selling, this is where I can have the least amount of risk. This is where I can have maybe more risk, but I can stay in the trade longer. At no time do I have to stay locked in the trade. I don't even have to take all of the risk that's in this one. Most of the time for me, just personally, I'm going to click this one when I'm selling, and then I'm going to click this one when I'm buying, because I want to be on the, if I'm selling, I want to be on the lowest with the most potential downside and the least potential upside against me. If I'm buying, I want to be on the highest with the most potential upside and the least potential downside against me. Okay? I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just holler at me in the comments. I'll try and explain it a different way. Okay? But that's all there. Now we're going to look at some technicals. Okay? 15-minute chart, right? These guys got up here all day. Open, broke out, running, and all the way up here. There's a lot of extension. Okay, don't worry about all these indicators. Everybody knows, or if you've watched my channel for a while now, obviously this is the crosswalk. When I got in, we were somewhere up here in this area. This is the area I like to sell at. All of the videos, most of the time I've got these little white dotted lines on them. And what am I doing? I'm selling here. I'm buying if we're down in that area here. Not super complicated. But also, I'm looking at price action, okay? When I see this huge, here's a high, we fell off. Here's another high, we fell off. Here's another high, we fell off. We come back, we broke that, here's another high. So, do I believe there's more room to the upside or more room to the downside at this point? I believe there's more room to the downside, at least for a brief interim. So that's why I got into the trade there. Okay, I got in a little early. That's why my contract still isn't in the money. We're trading at 1281 now. I had a mind to wait to get in until we were at like 1283. Why? Because there's R3. That's resistance level 3 on the pivot points. You can find the pivot, the round and whole number indicator right here. This is the oldest indicator on our site. Oldest one on our site, absolutely free. What's in there? The round and whole numbers, the value area based on the previous day, the pivot points based on the previous day, the statistics, the swings for the last however many days you want to set it to. So there's a lot that's already there. If you feel like, I once had someone write me and say, yeah, it's really easy if you could just draw a perfect support and resistance level.
GTS vote.
No one can draw perfect support and resistance levels. It's just maybe that I've been doing it a while now and I might know what to look for. But if you were to go through and probably look over like the whole year almost that I was doing markups until I started calling the S&P down, and I just got tired of DMs saying I'm unpatriotic and all of this craziness. I was calling what I saw. It doesn't matter what you want. And actually, I started calling it in mid-February. We kept falling into mid-March. Okay. Now, if you were read that thought process, you'll probably get why I draw a lot of my lines. Anyway, because it's all the same. Even when I'm doing these videos, I'm pretty much explaining why I draw a lot of my lines. But if you want some good lines that aren't mine, that everybody's been using, there's a video on YouTube somewhere you can see. It's about 15, 16 years old. Well, I had another channel then. I was still using pivot points back then. Okay. We started to consolidate around 47, 476. And if you go back over to our pivot calculator, was using pivot points back then. So you can put these puppies on your chart, and if in your mind you're just not good at drawing SNR lines, use some of these key levels that are already here. Value area high, already here. You're trading above value area where the market saw value yesterday. Where do you probably want to be? Long. Trade up. Okay. You're trading at a pivot point that's like 3. It's like R3. Do you still want to be long? Maybe. Because long term, you don't know how far it's going to go till it stops. But probably in the more immediate term, which is why I got in, there's probably going to be a turn in the more immediate term. Okay? That's why these were yellow in that oscillation. And then now you see we're starting to oscillate down. What do we see in the price action? Starting to oscillate down. Okay? So that's the technical aspect of it. I checked the news. I don't see any big news coming until like 9 Eastern. Nothing, no highs until high impact news until then. So that's my little checklist. That's how I set up the knockout. A lot of it is prep. A lot of it is putting thought into it. And most of it, if I'm going to trade counter trend, most of it is going to be patiently waiting for the trend, the dominant trend of that day to start turning around. And hey, I had to wait for it. And honestly, I got in a little too early. I should have waited. Absolutely, at a minimum, I shouldn't have been in the trade until we got right here to R3. Because when I got in, we were close to R3. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, as the great philosopher Jesse the Body Ventura says. So I could have just waited, you know. Big part of this, how you get better entries and you get quicker reactions, is because you wait for the better entry and then you get the quicker reaction because you're so close to the top that then you start to, there's not much more room, and then everybody else starts to get worried and say, oops, obviously I've came in here, at least in the interim, I've found my way to buying at the top. I kept waiting. Wait, I need a confirmation. Well, it looks like it's going up. I need a confirmation. Looks like it's going up, but I still need a confirmation. No, look, it's going down. I don't believe it yet. Oh, wait a minute. If it goes in higher, then I'll get in, but I need a confirmation. Okay, I'm finna do it now. I'm finna buy. I've got my confirmation. You're near the high of the day. Okay, and you bought. You bought near the high of the day. And how much of the day has already happened while you're waiting for the confirmation? Now, that has to do with taking ownership, guys. And that's the last thing I want to talk about. I pretty much went through all of my process for this. Where would I be if I open up a chart and I see we're trading above value area high? Probably the best thing for me to do, go with the flow, trade with the trend, buy. Find me a contract to buy on the knockouts. What would that be? The top contract in the 4. I'll buy from there, or I'll sell from the other. Or if I think I need some more room, then I'll buy and sell one of the median middle contracts. Right? What else is there? Blues on top, reds on bottom, my 50 and 100 moving average. You see the same MAs on so many of my videos, and I've quoted this so many times. It should be boring. That's another story. Okay, that's Just another technical reason for me to have bought above this key level. This is going this way. So the easier thing for me to do, where's all the money at? For me to follow the trend. Then Alfred, why did you sell? Because I'm just sitting back here doing clerical work for my other business, and I decided to make a video and explain the knockouts because I think some people are sleeping on the knockouts, or sometimes you'll get this thing into your mentality that'll eat up your confidence in your ability, and it'll hinder you from trading anywhere. When you get the idea, it's the platform, it's the it's the spreads, it's the premium, it's whatever. It's 100% of whether or not you're going to be profitable in this non-team sport is always you. And when I'm not profitable, 90% of the time is just something silly that I'm doing, like ignoring the news, or like not turning on my little media news so that I can hear it right here by my desk. That's 90% of the time. That's me. Okay? When you can take ownership like that, it's great, because it means that 100% of the likelihood of you being successful at this doesn't have anything to do with a team. It's something that you can accomplish entirely on your own. No worries. Yeah, mentorship can help you, but I can't come and physically force you to take better trades and tell you to turn on the news, dang it, and do your pre-market stuff and understand what news is coming that day, dang it, or else don't trade at all. I couldn't possibly do that for every viewer. Some videos have almost 4,000 views, especially for the little 5-minute poppy trades. So I can afford that. I'm just a humble trader trying to, share my little trades. And I don't have the time. I'm too old. Okay? So you got to do some of this stuff. And I just gave you a little blueprint that's really, what is this? This is a huge extension. Let's look at it like this. I hear some people explain it this way. If you're buying, you want to buy at an area that is wholesale. You're getting pretty low price, so it's a wholesale area. You're buying wholesale. If you're selling, or you decide to sell the market, you want to sell when you believe there's too much premium built into the market. Okay? It is overpriced. That's probably going to be somewhere around the high of the day, especially when some of the day is played out. That's probably going to show itself in some of the time, the days before. See? And that's all, guys. That's all. That's all the ingredients to trading the knockouts. And the knockouts would be the same as where I trading spot. What would be the difference? There's a knockout. I'm not quite in the profit now. But why am I not quite in the profit now? Because I didn't wait for the 83. That's why I'm not in a profit now. All I had to do was just wait a little while for the 83. If I would have waited for the 83 and I knew where R3 was, it was at 1283. Okay? So if I would have waited for the 83 and if I would have sold that, I would have been able to buy it back at 1276. In other words, I would have been already $7 in profit. Okay, but I decided to try and make the most of it, turn them lemons into lemonade, and come here and do a tutorial on the knockouts and talk a little bit about mindset and the psychology of this little game. And hopefully introduce you guys to some. I'm not really great at the new platform, so but you could see it. You could see how to get around and maneuver your way to the knockouts. But I wanted to really point out that the reason I'm not profitable or able to take profit right now, the reason that I can't take profit right now is just because I wasn't patient enough to wait for the 83. And I was just ready to make a video, for you guys. And what else? Let's talk about the last thing. Risk management. Since I knew I'm not even at the 83, how many contracts do I have here? Who knows? Okay? For, you know, some cats listening, I hope you feel me on this. When I know this isn't like a super tight, super strong setup, I'm not finna go hard. If I were really trading, not just for a video or whatever, I still wouldn't have went hard because I know that we were so close to R3 when I got in. Why not just wait? It don't cost me nothing to wait. It don't cost you nothing to wait. Just be patient. That's that's the biggest thing that's gonna make the difference between when you get into a trade and all of a sudden you have big impulsive reactions. Well, there's this is a 15-minute chart, and see how we got up there and then just boom. That only happens. That's gonna happen more when you're patient. So build that patience. Waiting till you hit those key levels where everyone's waiting, and then you get in there and decide, is this a better key level to buy at, i.e. right here, or is this a better key level to sell at, i.e. right here. Too long a video maybe, but I hope you guys got a lot from it. I've been doing live trades forever and ever now, so I wanted to slow it down a little bit and just do a tutorial and really talk about the knockouts and some of the stuff. I gave you two free places, a free place to check the news, a free indicator with a lot of key levels. If you don't understand the key levels, I explained value area in a series right here on the site. I explain the pivots right here on the site. These are key daily areas that you could trade around every day. And we just looked at a trade that I got into that is now starting to. I was wrestling back and forth, but it could come into money for me. you know, my position wasn't, my entry wasn't perfect, but the thing that I like about the knockouts is you cannot have just like super perfect entries. And if you had the patience to wait for your trade to come into some money, you could still get out of your trade with some money. Okay, just for those who might be curious about what happened, here's this white line here. I had to I had to go and do something for my other business. I actually had to get some orders ready to ship. So I left here. Nothing really, a couple of bucks. I left there. You can see the market just continued to tank as we move back down into that other area. And that's how that little trade, there's the value area high, rejection. And now we're coming back, approaching value area again. Remember, I got in somewhere up here just before we actually hit the R. We started hitting R3, and that's a pretty good signal. You know, um, it took a long time to get there, and it took patience, and it even took me a long time to get my crappy exit. But it's really never a crappy exit, because anytime you can exit with no losses and even a bit of profit, then hey, it's fine. And there's a million trades you can take every day, but I don't know if anyone can find a million profitable ones. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you what happened with the knockout, and see, just taking your time, slowing it down, being patient, you can get those entries. So that's all, guys. I just keep making this longer. Um, See you guys on the next video. Once again, this is Alfred for BinaryOptionsTutor.com. If we've helped you, please help us by sharing this content with others. Make sure to hit that bell for notifications of when we put up new videos. Also, make sure to knock out that like button. See you guys on the next video.